Ram trucks built to serve.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. I'm Jenna Wolf. Nick Wright is with us. Kevin Wilds, as always. We got Chris Broussard joining us this morning. I like to make it fresh. Like, I have no idea who's going to be here. We got a fun show for you today on a Thursday morning. Should we be worried about Dak's future with the Cowboys? Guess who isn't worried about Jarrett Stidham in New England besides Wilds? And speaking of worries, we're introducing the panic meter today, so stick around for that. But first, we get started with a little basketball. It is our rewarding performance sponsored by Capital One Venture Card. What's in your wallet? So the Golden State Warriors have won 3 of the last 5 NBA Finals, but they lost both Steph Curry and Klay Thompson to injury, and they lost Kevin Durant due to unfulfillment, perhaps. And as a result, the Warriors have lost more than they won this year, a lot more, to the point where many are now wondering if the dynasty is over. Well, Klay recently chimed in saying, "It just kills me inside when people say that, when people say our dynasty is over." Nick, Steph and Klay are coming back. KD is not. Do you think the Golden State Warriors dynasty is over?
Well, unfortunately for my friends in the Bay Area, the answer to that is obviously and unequivocally yes. And it didn't end the moment Kevin Durant left. It was on life support when Klay tears his ACL and Kevin Durant leaves. But I said on this very show, the day after the Warriors forfeited their one real ability to add another star when they traded D'Angelo Russell in order to get Andrew Wiggins and a pick, that we would never see Steph Curry in the finals again. And nothing has changed to change my opinion on that. The Warriors had one path forward. Package their top 5 pick that's coming this year and D'Angelo Russell this summer for a legitimate impact player. Instead, they took an alternative path, which is take D'Angelo Russell, trade him for a far inferior player, and get a pick that will never help you during Steph Curry's prime. And it's a wrap now. Here's where they're at. Steph Curry, believe it or not, is 32 years old, and he's owed $88 million over the next 2 years. Draymond Green is 30 years old, and he's owed $100 million over the next 4 years. Klay Thompson is 30 years old, and just turned 31. No, he's 30 years old, and he's owed $165 million over the next 4 years. The next time the NBA has the playoffs, or next year's playoffs, you will have 33, 31, and 31. Draymond, whose game is not aging well, Klay, who's coming off a torn ACL, and Steph at 33 years old with no cap flexibility and no depth. So as a basketball fan, it's disappointing. Broussard, I was excited to watch the Warriors this year. I picked the Warriors to make the Western Conference semifinals because I thought Steph was going to have a let me remind everyone how great I am season. Instead, Steph got hurt. Draymond looked really old, really fast, and we still haven't seen Klay. So I don't know what the case can be made that this team all of a sudden, with this roster, because this is their roster, is going to be able to win 3 consecutive rounds of a playoff series in the playoffs to make an NBA Finals before Steph has aged out of it, Broussard.
Well, look, their days of being the favorite, certainly the definitive favorite, are over. However, could I see the Warriors winning another championship within the next 3 years, Nick? Definitely. I'm not saying I'm picking them, but they have a chance within the next 3 years to win the title. They will be a contender. Steph and Klay will come back as good as ever, if not a little bit better, particularly with Klay. Draymond, he looked bad as the one star on a team full of youngsters, but he would look bad on any team if he's got to be the guy. But in his role as the third guy, the facilitator, the glue guy, he will be fine. And I also think he's motivated to come back and play well. Andrew Wiggins as the 4th option is fine. He's among the best 4th options in the league. I compare him to Andre Iguodala and Sean Livingston. When they were elsewhere and viewed as the man, when Iguodala had to be the man, nobody thought he was special. He was a disappointment. He goes to Golden State where he can just be a role player and his career is resurrected. Same thing can happen with Andrew Wiggins. Although he lacks Iguodala's motor, then you got the #1 pick or the top 5 pick. If it's James Wiseman, maybe an Obi Toppin, those guys over the next couple years could help the Warriors. Don't forget next year they got Minnesota's #1 pick that's only top 3 protected. So the Warriors, look, they'll enter this season as the 4th best team in the league behind the Clippers, the Lakers, and the Bucks. But with the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, their health is always an issue. With the Lakers, LeBron James is going to be 36 next year in his 18th season. So at some point, he may fall off. And the Bucks haven't proven anything, but they're a great regular season team. Again, I'm not saying the Warriors are the favorites, but is their championship window closed? Absolutely not. Remember, those Spurs teams went 6 years without getting to the finals and 7 without winning a title. The Warriors still have a shot.
This is you've lost your mind. You just said the Warriors going next year is the 4th best team. Did the Brooklyn Nets contract? Somebody let them know. James Harden quit basketball. Somebody let them know. Hey, our friends in Denver and Utah are begging for some respect. And forget even Philly or Boston. Like that, you've lost your mind. But the Draymond, the Warriors right now, the Warriors have 4 players whose names people know. Steph, Klay, Draymond, and Wiggins. 2 of those guys are untradeable. Draymond Green, 4 years, $100 million with his, when they won the title, I'm sorry, when they won 73 games, they didn't win the title. I forgot how that ended. When Draymond was Apex Draymond, he was 14, 10, and 7 on 38% from 3. Since then, the 4 years since then, 126 players have taken as many threes as Draymond. 125 have shot a better percentage. He has been the worst three-point shooter in all of basketball, and his athleticism waning hurts for a guy who wasn't a great raw athlete to begin with and needs all that athleticism for defensive purposes. Wiggins, what you said comparing Andrew Wiggins to Andre Iguodala, I know Andre Iguodala doesn't like me a lot, even though I like him immensely. It might be the most disrespectful comment I've ever heard about Iguodala ever. Like Andre Iguodala is hanging out, looking at his Zoom stock that he early invested in, having a great morning, and he hears the great Chris Broussard compare him to Andrew Wiggins. Jenna, I can't even. Please take it away,
Nick,
Jenna,
because
I'm gonna. Jenna, go.
You're lucky they've muted me.
Nick is apoplectic. Hang on, I want to bring Wilds in here. So, Kevin, how do you think the draft would factor into this? I mean, don't they have that to look forward to, the Warriors?
Yeah, Nick, I'll take the other side of it. I actually think they can be better. And, Chris, I'll throw it to you. When we look at these top 5 picks, they're guaranteed to have a top 5 pick. They've got a 14% chance at getting #1. I think there isn't more excitement about these guys, basically because we haven't seen them. Wiseman only played 3 games. Anthony Edwards at Georgia, he didn't have like Zion-type numbers on regular TV. 2 guys were in New Zealand. 1 guy's in Israel. And Obi Toppin never got a chance to really show what he could do during March Madness. So, Chris, I think this not only sets them up for next year, but almost can start a new dynasty going far beyond once those guys age out.
I mean, I think that's going a little far. I wouldn't say a new dynasty. I don't think they're never going to be what they were. But I do think they're a contender without question. And you're right, a Wiseman 7 feet. Now, how much they'll help next year as rookies, that's a question mark. And Obi Toppin might be able to help more than a Wiseman just because he has more experience. But look, to say their window is closed, I mean, how disrespectful to Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is a 20-point scorer. I know he's been disappointing as a #1 guy, but Andre Iguodala was disappointing as a #1 guy. What'd he do in Philly? Led him to the 2nd round? I mean, come on. But once he's in a role, he was great. You're not understanding roles. Draymond will be back in his role, and he'll be fine. That's what you're not understanding, Nick. The Warriors' strength was never their outright talent on paper. It was their chemistry, their fit, their style of play, the way they played.
I'll tell you what it was. They even, Broussard, they even came up with a really cool catchphrase, strength in numbers, because they were a really deep team. Here is right
DeAndre
now. Hold on. Here is.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes.
Brandon Rush.
Right. And right
those
now,
guys guys wouldn't have been good elsewhere.
Okay, but you go to guys 10 and 11 on the depth chart. You bring up Brandon Rush as opposed to the fact that they had Festus Ezeli, Mo Spade, Sean Livingston, Andre Iguodala initially coming off the bench. Those guys were legitimate backup centers. Here, hey, listen.
Festus Ezeli?
Hold on. No, what I'm saying is this.
He can't be
What I'm saying is this, Broussard.